I do tell everybody that whatever you're doing from a trading standpoint, which we're short gold and silver still, that buying precious metals is still something for stored wealth and to hold on to because they will at some point regain their value.
Well, we have a lot to talk about today because since you've been on, inflation just keeps getting hotter and hotter. June inflation now clocking in over 9%. And there is now talk that there may be a 1% interest rate hike at the July meeting. What say you, Bubba?
Well, Daniela, first of all, as you and I talked about, we said that if you took the original high inflation numbers and multiplied them by three, you might get the correct number because I think we're somewhere in the 20s, not at 9.1. I think the Fed is so out of line and so far behind the curve that they're forced to maybe raise one. And I don't think we're going to stop seeing rate hikes and possibly until the end of the year. This is not going to go away. We've been fortunate the last couple of weeks that oil has come down a little bit and some of the commodities have come down a little bit, but I think that's more based on some market action and some margin calls. I think that oil is going to probably all-time highs, and I think that the commodities are going to start to charge again, which is not going to help inflation. It's going to make inflation even hotter, and right now they have no cure because they refuse to do the right thing. So what's going to happen is the Fed's going to have to hike, and maybe one is correct. And of course, that should send markets into a tailspin.
Okay, so but is it clear as day now that the interest rate hikes, are they not doing enough? Is that the issue? Like, why isn't this working? Why are the steps that they've taken not working?
Well, because they've done the wrong steps. I mean, we're talking about supplies, we're talking about goods here. Making interest rates higher, slowing the housing market, slowing every other market of lending is not the right answer. The right answer would have been to go back and drill oil, frack and shale produce, and bring commodity prices and oil prices back down to about $2.50 a gallon instead of $5. You don't realize what effect that all this has. 80% of everything we do is involved with fossil fuels. So we're going to continue to burn them, and fracking and shale producing is really a non-pollutant. It does not create pollution. Why would you not keep doing the fracking and shale producing so that we can actually have and produce our own oil and at the same time help Germany, help the UK, and help the rest of the world because we could export oil to them instead of them being held hostage by Russia?
Baba, but let's talk about this. If they do hike 1%, right? This is extremely aggressive. Does it concern you? I mean, what happens?
Well,
what does the market look like if that happens?
It concerns me because I think we bring in the nastiest of all the inflations, stagflation. Okay, the last couple of weeks we've been bordering on a deflationary cycle, and now if you hike the rates, I think you're now talking about stagflation, which means nothing happens, nothing moves. The consumer can't afford to eat or buy anything, and the producer can't sell anything, and everybody's just at a standstill with an economy that's going to die. We're getting another negative GDP print. We've got a recession already, whether they want to admit to it or not, and stagflation could take us into a depression.
Okay, I want to get your thoughts on the strength of the US dollar here that just keeps getting stronger and stronger, at par now with the euro. What are your thoughts here? I mean, who wins, who loses?
Well, I mean, technically, people will say that our farmers will lose and our exporters will lose because of the strength of the dollar. However, if you really understand the supply-demand curve, when people need something, they're going to pay whatever it takes to get it, whether it's priced in dollars or not. The euro has been very weak, and in fact, I've made a call for the euro to go to 88 cents before it's all said and done. This is when it was $1.40. So I think that the Eurozone is in dramatic trouble here. They are deep in a recession and really right headed towards a recession, a depression. Okay, so I think what you really have here is a dollar that's going to continue to get stronger because as long as a dollar is still the reserve currency, other countries are going to buy dollars because they're concerned about their own economies. And this is what propels the dollar higher. When you're talking about the true fair asset, the dollar is where money runs to when there's real fear, because that even though it's a devalued raise in the dollar, because we know what the Fed has done to the dollar since its history, however, it is still the strongest currency in a really crappy, fraudulent market.
Before we talk precious metals, just want to bring up your other favorite topic of conversation, President Joe Biden. His overall economic approval numbers dipping to the lowest levels of his presidency. This is according to a CNBC All-American survey. His economic approval rating dropped 5 points from April's survey to 30%. That's lower than President Donald Trump and President Barack Obama. Your overall assessment here of how Biden's fighting this inflation story?
Biden doesn't realize there's inflation. He continues to try to blame everybody else. He's blamed Russia. He's blamed everybody but himself for their crappy policies and the garbage that they try to pull on the people of the United States of America. Their goal is to get to what they call the Great Reset and bring in socialism. They have no interest in improving this economy. They could have done it with the stroke of a pen. Many, many months ago, we didn't have to go through what we're going through now. But this goes to prove that the squad is haters of America, and Biden has no clue that he even exists on this planet Earth.
Okay, want to wrap now by talking about the precious metals landscape. We saw the pain that gold and silver went through last week. As we're speaking now, gold's inching back higher. But thoughts on the precious metals? Is it really just a dollar play here? Is that what's weighing on the metals, or is there more at play?
I think there's more at play, Daniela. Look, I'm a big believer in precious metals, as you know, and I do tell everybody that whatever you're doing from a trading standpoint, which we're short gold and silver still, that buying precious metals is still something for stored wealth and to hold on to, because they will at some point regain their value. But there's a lot more going on in here, and I think that gold is now probably looking at the next real support level of 1650 to 1600, and silver is looking at maybe $18 as the next level, and we could go lower than that. There's some real selling pressure going on here, and part of it is liquidation of assets. It's trying to save some cash, and people trying to survive other positions. One of the biggest common problems in the investing and trading world is people sell good products to support bad positions, and that's usually how we see it happen, that they start to reach on some things that they own that they can control so they can make margin calls and some other stuff.
And what are you doing with your crypto portfolio these days, Bubba? Are you adding? Have you lost faith in the space given the carnage we've seen and the bankruptcy of many companies? I mean, what's your take here now?
Well, look, I'm a believer in crypto. I'm adding to my crypto position very much similar to what I would do in gold and silver, but not at a dramatic rate. Remember, I tell everybody, if you're going to be involved in crypto, whatever you invest in that crypto, be prepared for it to go to zero. This is not a done deal that they're definitely going up, and you have nothing in your hands like in gold and silver. You have something you can hold on to, and whether it's worthless or worth something, you got it. Paper, this paper asset of cryptos, I believe in them, and I think that they should be bought. Now, in full disclosure, on the board or in the futures market, we have been short since about 50 or 60,000 in Bitcoin, and will continue to stay short. However, I will continue to look to buy some at these value prices that I will hold on to for a long period of time, and I will actually hold them until they go either way up or to go to zero. I think that the libertarian space, the currency, they like the ability of what crypto brings, which is the lack of government and Federal Reserve involvement in their currency.